Welcome back, YouTubers. Always love to have you riding along with me. Got a glorious day here. Been looking for them, and it's nice once in a while to have a nice bright sunny day to break up the rainy days. Had a really bad one yesterday and overnight, and Sweet Bride couldn't get out to play golf because the course was probably all soggy, and that's no fun, especially if you start blasting your balls out of puddles. But anyway, I don't do that, but she has a great time and she has a good buddy to do it with, and I certainly am glad she has found something that she really enjoys. There's no room on the back seat of my Spyder for her to ride along with me because she's really not interested in doing that, and that's why I have a tunnel bag back there instead. It's a nice place to keep my rain suit and my first aid kit and anything else that I might want to be carrying along that I don't want to put in the frunk. And, well, as anybody who has an F3 knows, it doesn't take much to fill a frunk up. Passing through this cute little town here, Greenback. Been through it before. Always enjoy riding along here. And Tennessee Route 95's got some nice twisties on it. Going to enjoy those in just a couple of minutes when I get through this little town here. I recently posted a couple of videos where I was commenting on the Can-Am Riker. And I may have given the impression that this is something that I really didn't like. And I also said that maybe if it had been available when I bought my Spyder in 2017, that it had been something I'd have given a look to. I think it's a neat little pocket rocket trike, and I certainly didn't mean to draw any attention to it that I thought it was not worthy of being a Can-Am or being a trike or anything. There's an increasing number of videos being posted by people that are liking them and riding them, even two up. One guy said that it's probably good for about 100 miles on the gas tank, which is not a super long range, but long enough to have a really good time, if that's what you're out for. And what other reason would you be out there other than having a great time? Sweet Bride and I have been going through some of the stuff we have stored in the attic. And a lot of things we wonder how they wound up in storage in the first place. Old degree certificates of various kinds, including the thing I got from Harley Davidson that I was the proud owner of a special serial numbered 85th anniversary Electroglide, which was the last big touring bike I owned. And we found caricatures of both of us on the bikes we were riding at that time. Major grins on our faces, of course, because that kind of goes along with it, doesn't it? Sure does for me. We ride because it's fun. Isn't that the main reason? With the club, I'm going on a run very soon up to the Brushy Mountain Correctional Facility, which was a famous East Tennessee prison that was actually constructed and opened in 1896. It closed in 2009, and I'll be commenting more about it when I make a video about that run. We're also doing the Devil's Triangle, which the riders in the club have been warned that there are some serious twists and turns and on roads that don't have any shoulders, which means, as a word to the wise, be careful, have fun, but pay attention to the ride. I think we're supposed to do that anyway, aren't we? Heck, any day can be ruined with a moment of inattention and you wind up in a ditch or worse. I remember the very first motorcycle I owned. I went up a dirt road charging along, and it was kind of loose gravel. And my flat track rider skills weren't very well developed, and I realized in retrospect that if I'd cut the handlebars to the right and dragged my left foot, that I probably would have stayed up instead of going into a ditch and doing some minor cosmetic damage to the machine. I remember I was living at home at the time. I was, just a 25-year-old kid. I guess that's a kid, right? And my parents were very much opposed to anything motorcycle. And consequently, even though it was warm weather in summertime, I found myself going to work with long-sleeved shirts to cover up the abrasion I had. Not a serious one, but certainly noticeable. And for them, I think any ammunition that would say, "You really should not be doing that, Johnny boy," would probably have fallen on deaf ears anyway, but what the heck. I think there's only about a dozen or 15 people that are going on the ride to Brushy Mountain and to run the Devil's Triangle. Not a very big group, considering there's probably 80 or 90 member families in the club. It's going to be a good turnout. We usually break up into groups of about 8. I think we're probably just about the right size for 2 small groups. Keeping the group size smaller makes it a little better when you have to deal with intersections and traffic lights and things like that. Getting broken up and getting lost and any number of problems that can happen when you're trying to manage a large group can be avoided by keeping the numbers down to 6 or 8 bikes, or trikes in my case. I don't know if any of the people that are riding tomorrow besides myself will be on a trike. I know there's one fellow that is going that has one, but he also rides a Harley, so it remains to be seen if he's going to be triking or biking. The group, as it was originally conceived, was for motorcycles. And whether or not there were any Harley trikes or Goldwing trikes back in the day when the club was founded, I'm not sure. It's been in existence since the early 2000s. I don't remember exactly which year, but I know it was early on when we were living in Tennessee. We've been here since March of 2002. I do remember going to what used to be an Italian restaurant and became a series of other things subsequently, and is now actually a Thai restaurant. But anyway, they used to meet there, and the group grew large enough that they had to move to a larger facility in order to have everybody have a place to sit to eat. So they wound up at one of the golf clubhouses called Tanassi, and then later on they outgrew that and wound up meeting in the yacht club on the 5th floor, which has a large room and plenty of room for the number of people that typically show up for a meeting. The Vintage Car Club, which I also belong to and am the webmaster for, meets there also. And we went through something similar, where we started out actually meeting in somebody's home, and then we moved to a restaurant, which, between the level of service and the quality of food, we decided not to meet there anymore. And we also moved to that same golf clubhouse. And we outgrew that and wound up, as I said, meeting in the yacht club on their meeting room on the top floor. And it's worked out really well. Now, I don't know how much bigger these clubs could get. Originally, the car club was only for people driving true classic cars, but that was actually changed a number of years ago, where if you like it, we like it, and you can be part of our group. And it became more of a social club than a classic car club. Some of the members were a little bit disappointed by that and spun off another group that adheres to the old rules, sort of. I mean, it's like, I think cars have to be 1975 or earlier to be eligible to join. And I I kind of like that idea. I think that was a good model to use for a club in the village. I follow Great Rides on YouTube. He's another moto vlogger, and I found out just recently that he was down in my neck of the woods, and we didn't get a chance to hook up. But I think something could happen when he comes down later in the year where we could actually take a ride together. Maybe we could do the Dragon Loop, which is US Route 129, which goes through what is purportedly 318 curves and 11 miles. And it's a place that people come from all over the country and even across the pond to ride on. And then it continues on and hooks up on the Cherahalla Skyway, which is a beautiful drive also. It actually gets up to almost 5,000 feet in elevation and offers some spectacular vistas. The entire route is something like 125 miles, and the scenery at times, certain times of the year, certainly in the fall, can be absolutely breathtaking. Now the Dragon portion, that's a little bit different, because you really have to pay attention to what you're doing, because there are plenty of accidents on that road from people that are not paying attention and the racer wannabes that drive a little bit past their abilities. And people do get killed on that road. It's a sad but true fact. There's even a place at the North Carolina end where it's a restaurant, a gift shop, and a motel. And they have out in the parking lot area a tree that they call the Tree of Shame, where parts of people's motorcycles are hung to display, well, this is what's left of my bike, or this is a piece of what was left of my bike. And it's enough to make you pay attention and realize that you got to be careful. So all of you out there, do be careful. Have fun. Enjoy the ride. Life's good. Speedster Johnny out.